Good, y'all? It's Mikey T, the movie star. I'm back with another exclusive. And guys, when a former G Unit member, like a former core G Unit member, actually disses the head honcho, you gotta call it a breaking exclusive. So today, I got a breaking exclusive. This actually goes all the way back to the beginning of 50 Cent's career. You know, when people would call him out about snitching on track over his whole situation with Supreme McGriff, Ja Rule, and Irv Gotti. And that's what we're going to be taking a look at today, because Young Buck has made some very, very breaking Instagram posts, and one that he actually deleted and one that he actually kept up that I'm going to read to you guys today. It seems like the rivalry has started once again. You know what I mean? Sometimes people say if 50 Cent disses you, it's going to be the best promotion that you actually get in your whole career. So Buck right now is up, if you look at it like that. Buck is actually up. He's got 50 Cent mentioning him, making skits about him as if he's back on that Pimpin' Curly type of vibe. You know what I mean? 50 might even bring back Pimpin' Curly for Buck. But yeah, it's Mikey T, the movie star. Everyone that's watching this, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. I know a lot of y'all out there love my G Unit news, G Unit discovery, if you will. If anybody wants to come on the channel and do commentary with me, or if you want to just come on the channel and do an exclusive interview, or you want to premiere a music video, hit me up on Instagram, Mikey T _ the movie star. Again, everybody that follows me based on this video, I am going to follow you guys back immediately. You know what I mean? I'm for the people, man. I like to interact with everybody that comes on to the channel. You know what I mean? I like that you guys be commenting and that you guys be hitting me up on the gram. You know what I mean? It's dope. But let's get into the exclusive for today. Buck isn't taking this whole situation with 50 lying down. 50 just posted, like I said, he posted a skit, a crazy skit that was actually mimicking Young Buck's whole situation with his girlfriend, I should say. You know what I mean? I'm kind of shocked that Young Buck is actually putting himself on the you know, putting himself like out there like that to be dating this woman, to be 100% honest with you guys. But you know what I mean? Buck is in a situation right now with bankruptcy, so he's probably trying to, you know, live with a woman. You know what I mean? He ain't trying to have no credit issues, you know what I mean? And when you live with a woman, and you're straight. But also, you guys have been seeing some of what Buck's been doing with all of these seemingly photo shoots. I mean, I'm kind of wondering why Buck has been putting on the cowboy hat and the flannels and the boots, you know what I mean? And like really getting back to his country roots or something like that. It's kind of worrying me, to be honest with you. But, you know, Buck is just trying to answer that. Buck is really just trying to get a feeling of what he was once a part of. You know what I mean? 50 probably used to have Buck going through all types of photo shoots back in the day. And Buck is just trying to get a feeling of a familiar feeling. You know what I mean? So Buck actually took to the gram to talk of some startling information, you guys. He really came out of nowhere with this. I didn't think Buck was going to do this, really. But Buck jumped on the gram and he said, somebody tell this bitch ass N-word 50 Cent, finish that bowl of fruit steroids and wrap your monthly police report up. CI, hashtag confidential informant. CI. He's calling 50 Cent a confidential informant, and he's not only implying that 50 may have snitched in the past, like what I was talking about when 50 was going through that whole situation with Murder Inc. and Ja Rule, and you know what I mean, then the feds with Supreme McGriff. Buck is not only implying that 50 had something to do with that, you know what I mean? He's saying that 50 is making monthly police reports. Buck is coming online and saying that 50 is actually having monthly meetings as a confidential informant with the feds. Like, this is crazy news to me to hear, because it kind of confirms some of the past interviews that have dropped with Bang'em Smurf, with other people suggesting that 50 was meeting with the feds. You know what I mean? That 50 was cooperating with the feds further than just the Supreme McGriff investigation. You know what I mean? So when I read this, that Young Buck is posting this, he says, "Don't forget I know you, and I ain't got started yet." So this is bad for 50 because Buck was around 50. Like I'm saying, when I at the beginning of the video, I said a core G Unit member is dissing 50 right now, you guys. This is somebody that was around 50 for hours on end, days and days. You know what I mean? A core G Unit member, somebody who was around for a whole 365 day year schedule. You know what I mean? Buck was always on the books with Banks and 50. So wherever 50 went, Buck was right there. So there's no telling what type of interviews Buck could release in the next few months. No type of telling if Buck had taken any photo evidence of what he might have seen 50 doing. You know what I mean? But Buck's always going to remember what he did, when 50 pulled up to certain spots, who 50 met up with, and hell, maybe even 50 actually broke down the situation of what he was going through to Buck. Buck was a multi-platinum selling artist on 50 Cent's label. You know what I mean? He put an ultimate amount of trust in young Buck back then. And I even said it the other day on my live. It was strange to me how 50 kicked Buck out of G Unit. First he kicks him out of G Unit. Then he disparages his name. He totally just threw his name down the toilet all over the internet. You know what I mean? When he released that phone conversation, when Buck was crying on the phone and saying that he doesn't really understand how to do his finances and the taxes came up on him and it was just too much on him, and 50 told him, Buck, you got to stay close to me. You got to stay close to me, Buck. That's the only way this is going to work. You got too far away from me. If you guys are wondering how Buck got too far away, he didn't want to go on the overseas tour with G Unit, and he decided to stay on a tour with the rapper who made Throw Some D's, Rich Boy. Yeah, and Buck just got his money messed up. So 50 released that whole phone call conversation, totally, like dissecting Buck, you know what I mean? Just putting his whole persona out there to the people. Buck sounded crazy on that phone conversation. You know what I mean? He was crying he was blubbering on the phone with 50, apologizing. So 50 totally assassinated his character with that. And then it was strange because 50 brought him back. Buck went to jail. Buck got out of jail. Buck started making some noise. Still no word on that third album, though. Buck started making noise, and he entertained some other offers from people like The Game, people like Maybach Music, I believe. There was a lot of talk of Buck working with some of the Maybach Music artists. There was talk of an album with The Game. So Buck started to generate some interest, and 50 brought him back. It was a little bit strange. After assassinating the man's character, then you bring him back to G Unit. Maybe it's potentially because Buck does have some of these secrets that he's claiming to have. Buck possibly has more secrets than a guy like Mangum Smurf, just considering the amount of time that he was around him when the man got money. After the man's whole situation with Murder Inc., he was there for the years that followed that, if you really look at the timeline of the whole situation. So guys, this is just a situation that we're all going to have to keep up with, and Buck might use some of this information to promote forthcoming releases. I mean, it seems like Buck is really trying to get his steam back right now. Like I said, he's doing crazy photo shoots to bring him back to that familiar feeling of actually being at a photo shoot, like a high-end photo shoot, you know what I mean? Like that actually marketing dollars were put into, more than just a couple thousand. But whatever, Buck, get your money, man. Get your money, Buck, at any means. I was a major fan of young Buck back in the day when he put out his first album. Even his second album, I really thought the second album was better than the first. I just don't think they had the right marketing on it. I think they waited too long. His first album dropped in 2004. His second album dropped in 2007. It was kind of ridiculous. Buck actually had a single with R.I.P. Chester from Linkin Park. It was a G Unit Linkin Park collaboration. I don't understand why 50 Cent failed to market that as a major collaboration. Jay-Z had just done the duet album with Linkin Park. They could have did a whole Linkin Park G Unit thing to set off the Buck the World album. It's just dumbfounded. You know what I mean? I really can't believe it. They missed a major opportunity to turn Buck into one of the biggest artists in the South. I mean, look what happened. He did that whole thing with Dr. Dre at the Vibe Awards. That should have really catapulted young Buck. He was working with Young Jeezy. I could sit here and list a dozen things. He was working with Uh, Ludacris, he was working with T.I., you know what I mean? He had some of the most heavy hitters on his album. Buck really could have been one of the kings of the South, if not the king of the South, with the right direction of 50 Cent. And that was a major missed opportunity for G Unit South as well, you guys. But I'm glad everybody tuned in. Everyone out there watching this video, I want y'all to tap in with this website, Non-Stop Connections. Non-Stop Connections is the perfect place to meet not so perfect people with good hearts. Non-Stop Connections is a pen pal correspondence service that helps incarcerated men find positive people and new friends to communicate with while serving their debt to society. We are actively involved in helping inmates find employment, positive programming, and housing when available in their area upon their release. Tap in with NonStopConnections.com. You guys, if you have a friend, a family member, any type of a loved one that's incarcerated right now, tap them in with this website, NonStopConnections.com. You know, I do a lot of videos talking about the people that are locked up, like ARAB and Dark Low and Skinny Me. You know what I mean? Like, everybody that's locked up needs a correspondence. Non-Stop Connection is here to make sure that the inmate is actually able to help adjust himself to society upon his return. You know what I mean? Having the active ingredients of like a magazine, like OOI magazine, where you have an opportunity to read about how others are building once they leave the cell, once they leave the jail, and having the opportunity to correspond on a website like nonstopconnections.com with a female. It's like a pen pal type of thing. I know there's a lot of women out there who do pen pal and just they write guys to give them a positive outlook on the future. You know what I mean? It's a great thing, and that's why I'm tapped in with nonstopconnections.com. Follow OOI magazine on Instagram as well, you guys, if you want to tap in with a rising magazine. I know there's a lot of artists out there. I know there's people that were recently incarcerated watching this video. This magazine is actually for you guys, but it's not limited to just that. They do a lot of stuff with a lot of rising artists. They got an article with Asian to Brad in there. Stay tuned for it, y'all. Tap in early, though. I want you guys to tap in early with OOI magazine. Everyone watching this video, follow me on the gram as well. Mikey T _ the movie star. Everyone who follows me based on this video, I'm going to follow you guys right back. And if you want to come on the channel to do some social commentary with me about some hip hop topics, whatever it is, if it's OBH, if it's Death Row, if it's, you know, G Unit, if it's Bad Boy, Aftermath, anything like that, if you want to jump on the platform and talk hip hop commentary, hit me on the gram and we can figure it out. Also, if you just want to come on to do an exclusive interview or promote your label or premiere a music video, let's do it, guys. Let's work.